Hello, I am Dr. Christy Kaiser from the University of North Georgia, staff instructor for University 1101 Fundamentals of Academic Achievement, and this presentation correlates with the Growth Mindset module found in D2L. A quote often attributed to Henry Ford says, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." And what Henry Ford meant by that was that your attitude toward what your goal is determines your success at that goal. So if you go into something believing that you don't have the skills to do it, or that you're not smart enough to do it, or that you don't have the resources to do it, the first time that an obstacle comes up that you have to face, you are probably just going to quit and just say, oh, there's my proof that I can't do this. Whereas if you go into something with a completely opposite mindset and you say, hey, I know I can do this, I know I'm smart enough, I know I have the skills and resources, you go in and an obstacle comes up and you just go around it. You find a solution, you work through it, you try again. So, your brain has incredible control over your success. Stanford psychologist Dr. Carol Dweck is a person who has spent many, many years researching growth mindset, or this phenomenon that our mind can control our success. And Dr. Dweck is considered the authority in this field and has done a lot of the preliminary and founding research into growth mindset. The specific work that informed this particular presentation is Dr. Dweck's book entitled Self-Theories, Their Role in Motivation, Personality, and Development, which was published in 1999. In this slide, we see some differences between growth mindset and the opposite of growth mindset, which we call a fixed mindset. You can see that the types of statements that are associated with growth mindset are things like failure is an opportunity to grow, and I like to try new things, and my effort and attitude determine my abilities. Whereas a person with a fixed mindset might believe that failure is the limit of my abilities, that they give up when they're frustrated, and they stick to what they know. They stay in the safe zone. So while a lot of us would like to believe that we possess a growth mindset, we have to be very mindful of habits and common beliefs that we may accept as true that are actually indicators of a fixed mindset. An example that I will use is that I personally have often said that I am not good at math, when the fact is that I have not learned all of the skills that I need in order to be successful at the higher levels of math. I'm great at basic math, I'm great at algebra, I'm great at those types of things. I just haven't learned some of the more complicated styles of math. I wasn't forced to do that, I wasn't interested in doing that. And so I've taken on sort of a fear of math based on my belief that I'm not good at it. But the truth is that I haven't been introduced and I haven't attempted the skills in the way that I should have. Another thing that we do as a society is we stereotype and we say, well, I'm not as good at this sport as my brother, because he's a boy and he has a natural aptitude. Or I might say that I'm not as good at academics as someone who had parents who were very academically oriented, when in truth my abilities may be the same, but it's my notion that these persons have some skill or some gift or some special favor from God that I don't have that actually limit me. In order for Dweck to test the various theories that she posited in terms of growth mindset, it was important for her to first come up with a scale on which to measure a person's level of growth mindset or lack thereof. So Dweck and her colleagues developed what we call the implicit theories of intelligence scale, and then that was later modified by other researchers to the modified implicit theories of intelligence scale. And the only difference was some slight changing to the language. If you look at the first question that I've listed, I don't think I personally can do much to increase my intelligence. The original scale said something more along the lines of, I don't think much can be done to increase my intelligence. So we've basically adapted the scale to make it more aligned with the notion that when a person is responsible and able to modify their own intelligence, not to have someone come along and give them some wisdom or some insight that they otherwise would not have access to. So these are just a few sample questions of the scale, and the participants would be asked to rate whether they somewhat agree, somewhat disagree, strongly disagree, or neither agree nor disagree. I recently did some study on growth mindset and how it affected student populations. And I specifically looked at Upward Bound participation. And for those of you who are not familiar with Upward Bound, it is a program for high school students who are eager to go to college, who have the potential to go to college, but who are either or both first generation or living in what we would consider to be the threshold for poverty in our county. And the reason that I'm sharing this information with you is that the experiences that the students in Upward Bound are offered and the information and the workshops that are offered to these students are very similar to the topics that we will be covering in this academic achievement course. So you can see from the outcome kind of what you can expect to achieve if you fully participate and take advantage of the opportunities to have access to the resources. So the first thing that we found was that participating in a program such as this increased the participant perceptions of their ability to learn new things. So one of the students that I interviewed said, "My ability to learn new things has drastically changed. I feel like being in the program with the Harrison County Counselor has really helped me learn how to do things differently in ways that I can learn easier and quicker." It also increased the student's academic confidence. Another student said, "I feel that the program has helped me figure out what I actually have to do. It clarified the steps I needed to take to just be a better student." And the program also demonstrated that it assisted with setting and achieving goals. Another student said, "For me, this program has made me think about some different things that could happen for me in my future and maybe think about different paths that could lead to them." We were able to identify through discussions with the students some of the areas that helped them to feel more confident. And the first one was ACT and SAT test preparation workshops. So while that doesn't relate directly to those of you in the academic achievement class, you can see how learning to test better can increase your confidence and your belief that you are able to pass the necessary exams that you need to pass in order to progress through your academics and into your chosen career. Another area that the students identified as super helpful during their program participation was tutoring services. And I would really like to highlight that because we as a university have many options available to students in terms of tutoring services, and we find that a lot of our students don't know about that, don't know how flexible that can be, or have misconceptions about there being additional costs associated. And we just want to take a minute to tell each of you that, look into it. Tutoring is not for students who are unsuccessful. Tutoring is not for students who are incapable of learning, who are in special education. That's not what it is. Tutoring is a way for students to get some help in areas that they just quite don't understand in their coursework so that they can stay on track with the course. It is not for students who aren't able to do the work. So we always have a student who will say something like, well, I didn't take advantage of tutoring because I don't have accommodations, or I didn't take advantage of tutoring because I'm not in a learning support class. Tutoring is for everyone in every class at every level at UNG. Tutoring services are covered in the cost of your tuition already. So you've already paid for it and you might as well use it. Otherwise, you're just wasting some money, right? So some of the options that we have in-person tutoring in the tutoring center, which is located in the Foster Watkins building, which is one of the older buildings over on the quad. We have a writing center, which is located in the Martha T. Nesbitt building, which is the large building with the parking deck, which is over on the backside of campus. On the second floor of the Martha T. Nesbitt is where you'll find the writing center. The Writing Center is a great resource if you struggle with writing in any manner, be it grammar, be it your formatting, be it just getting organized to write a paper. You can schedule an appointment to work with a Writing Center tutor, and these tutors can help you by proofreading your paper. They can help you by helping you form an outline for your paper. They can help you with formatting issues for APA, MLA, etc., etc. One never gets to the point that they don't need the Writing Center. Recently graduated from UNG with my doctorate, my EDD, and my dissertation, even though I have written for many, many years, needed a lot of work. It needed a lot of revision to be doctoral level work. So I submitted my dissertation to the Writing Center and worked with a writing tutor and was able to polish up what was probably not going to be dissertation level and what was probably not going to make it to the defense point and turn it into something that could be published. We also offer online tutoring appointments for those who are still not comfortable with face-to-face interactions due to the COVID pandemic, and for others who just aren't able to get to the tutoring center during the operating hours, you can set an appointment online to meet with a tutor. They meet with you virtually via a platform like Microsoft Teams or Zoom, and they will work with you and walk you through step by step the homework that you're working on or the problem that you're facing that you do not understand. In addition to those services, there are foreign language labs, there are computer labs, and there are myriad options for getting extra help at UNG, including and not limited to asking your instructors for help. So please make sure that you remember to reach out to your instructor if you're just struggling with a very specific thing and say, hey, I do not understand this equation. I do not understand this concept. I do not understand this genre. Please can you explain it to me in a different way because the way that it was explained in the course material didn't help. And 90% of the time, your instructors are going to welcome the opportunity to work with you one-on-one to help you through. And in addition to all of these personal experiences, we also offer subscriptions to a service called Smart Thinking, and that is available through your distance education, otherwise known as D2L, framework with your online courses. There is an area where you can click called Smart Thinking in the upper right-hand portion of the screen, and you can go into basically a database of course-specific tutoring modules that you can work at your own pace. So please remember to take advantage of these opportunities in tutoring because they as I said, they are effective, they've been proven effective, and they are paid for. Another topic that students pointed out to us that was super impactful to their academic confidence was that of highlighting of opportunities. A lot of times in higher education, we assume that students are already aware of opportunities that they can take advantage of in order to be more successful in college. Now, obviously, that is not the case for every student. So we, as an institution, do make an effort to stay on top of all of the changes, all of the latest information in terms of opportunities for students, be that opportunities for financial aid, opportunities for career advancement, career placement, opportunities for free or low price testing, for credits. There's all sorts of things that are available to students, and we strive to stay on top of that information. But you will, of course, need to ask for it. We can't give all of our information to every student because we would overwhelm the students to begin with information that's not relevant to them. But we would also not be able to meet with every student and give every piece of information that we know. So when you're up against something that you are struggling with or you have a barrier, just talk to someone in one of the offices at the university and you will be amazed at all of the opportunities that they can offer to you. We do have a student money management center. That is a place where you can, first of all, apply for a short-term small loan if you have a small gap in how much money you have and how much money you need to pay in terms of your tuition. They can often offer you a small loan to get you through. If you were to have car trouble and you just need a few dollars to, get your car fixed, but you didn't have the money already set aside, they can help you with that. But they also offer counseling and mentoring and just super valuable information on things like what's a good credit card percentage rate? What is a good loan percentage rate? What is the difference between different types of loans? What are differences between investment accounts? How do you make a budget? How do you stick to a budget? And we all need help with those things from time to time. So make sure that if you find yourself in a financial situation or up against something that you don't quite understand, that you pay a visit to that department. We also have a career services department over in the Student Center, and they are there to help you determine what careers align with the degree that you are currently pursuing or considering pursuing. They are able to help you sign up for a career assessment test. So basically, if you don't know what it is you want to do, but you know what subject areas you're interested in, and you know what tasks you do like to do and what tasks you really do not like to do, you can take one of these assessment tests and then you can get some guidance on some careers that you may be well suited for. So again, if you're having some struggles, make sure that you're meeting with the proper department and the proper offices to get the information that you need, because everything is already taken care of at the university, but we do have to know that you need the information. And lastly, the students identified mentoring as a very important part of why their academic confidence increased. And they were basically just saying, they have these counselors. These counselors are employed by a college, UNG, already. And these counselors know a lot about the admissions process, about financial aid, about what college life is like, what college campus is like, what rules, norms, etc. they can expect. So the students really liked having a counselor or a person that they could go to with a question that they might not feel comfortable asking at the college or might not know who to ask at the college. So I would like to suggest to you, if you don't already, find you a person at UNG, someone that you've built a relationship with, someone that you trust, that you feel confident just sending them a quick email and saying, hey, there's a thing I just don't understand, or my instructor said this to me and I don't even know what it means. And I am the student success coordinator for the university, so I'm, more than happy to serve as your person or help you find a person in your chosen field or area of study. But you definitely need a person. And you need to be able to have those lines of communication where you do feel comfortable with someone enough to ask when you don't understand an email that you've received or a process that needs to happen or what your plan of study should really look like. So we're going to help you grow your growth mindset, but you have to help. And your attitude coming into, in this case, this course and not the program, but also this academic year, is going to determine your success. And if you are coming to this class begrudgingly, if you're coming to this class with anger, you're not going to get much out of it, to be honest. If you are coming to this class with an open mind, knowing that there are things about college, about studying, about academics that you still need to learn, and you pay attention and you engage and you are part of the communication going on, you are going to benefit from this class. I have never had a student who completed this course who did not benefit from the course. We ask for very candid feedback, and we have had students every single semester, every single student who's completed the course said they're glad they took it and they learned from it. Even a student who was a senior at UGA who had already walked across the stage and accepted his diploma, and then UGA determined that he was actually short 1 credit hour. So he took this course and he was like, wow, I did not expect to learn anything in this course, and I did, and I'm so glad because I'm going on to graduate school and I'm going to take some of the stuff I learned here with me. So the easiest way that you can help this process along is very, very simple, and that is to eliminate negative self-talk. And you all know what I'm talking about. As human beings, we are the absolute worst at how we talk to ourselves. We would never in a million years consider speaking to another person or even our dog in the way that we talk to ourselves and about ourselves. We say horrid things. We say, oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I'm such a failure. I'm such a loser. I'm incompetent. I screw everything up. I'm a horrible person. I'm a bad daughter. I'm a bad son. We say these things, and we would never dream of saying it to our grandma. We wouldn't walk up and say, Grandma, you are just a complete idiot, and you should quit trying in life. You should just quit trying. But we say those things to ourselves all day, every day. And it doesn't matter what the message is. If you hear a message all day, every day, you're going to believe it. Our brains are conditioned to accept repetition as truth. So if you're in a situation where someone else was saying to you all day, every day, you're a loser, you should just quit, you should give up, you're not smart enough, we'd be pretty ill with them, and we would go away from them because we wouldn't want to hear it. Or at least I hope we all would. But we don't tell ourselves to stop, and we do need to do that. In order to be better students, in order to be better humans, we need to tell ourselves to stop with the ridiculous negative self-talk, because it's not true. It's not true. We all know that every single one of us has skills, gifts, passions, great attributes, something to bring to the table. We have wonderful senses of humor. We're caring people. We're, motivated. Whatever it is, we all have something to offer, and we all have the potential to be successful with that something. We just have to figure out what it is, and we have to get the credentials to get there. And that's one of the things. It's the hardest thing. It sounds the easiest. It's the hardest work, but it is the most important thing that you're going to do in order to ensure your student success. So an example of this type of negative talk: I'm not good at algebra. That could be easily reconfigured to say, this semester I'm going to ask a lot of questions and become better at algebra. Guys are just not good at cooking. I find this one personally very humorous because my boyfriend is a caterer and he's a very good cook, and he's probably one of the best cooks I've ever personally encountered. And so when people say to me, you know, oh, my husband, he's terrible in the kitchen, guys are just not good cooks, I'm like, nope, sorry, not true. So maybe that could be rephrased as, guys don't always get the same amount of exposure to or practice at cooking, so I'm going to practice and be an Iron Chef. Because if you think about it, 90% of the professional chefs, the restaurant owners, are males. I heard a student recently tell me that he was too short to play basketball. And I laughed at him because he was too young to remember an icon named Spud Webb, who was 5'6" and changed basketball. I'm too old to start something new. That one is probably one of my favorites because we hear it from our adult learner students all the time. I'm just too old. And I think about how many students that have come through UNG just in the 10 years that I've been here who are much older and who have been extraordinarily successful, including myself, who started my doctorate at 40 and graduated with a 4.0 GPA, but was by far not the oldest person in my program, and the oldest person in my program was 73 years old, and up until some health complications postponed her education, she also had a 4.0 and was doing just fine. Additionally, the founder of McDonald's was quite an aged man when he bought his first hamburger stand, and most of you are well ahead of that. So you're getting started on your dreams much earlier than a lot of successful people. So nobody is too old to start something new. Okay, well, obviously we are in an online course, so you cannot directly ask me questions as this is not a live presentation. But I did want to leave this slide in the presentation because I do welcome questions. If any of you would like to learn more about growth mindset, if any of you have questions about growth mindset of any sort, if you would like a copy of Dr. Dweck's book, please feel free to reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to discuss any of this further. But I definitely want you to keep these simple ideas in mind, that how you talk to yourself affects your success, and how you define your success affects your ability to pursue it. So that being said, thank you for listening to my presentation.